Droucia. Previously, the group of you have formed a partnership of convenience as it meets towards the shared protection necessary to travel deep into the Pin Wood on the eastern side of the village of Elderthorn, from which most of you have come natively or grown up in the last few years. You've embarked into the Pinwood on a bequest from the local general goods purveyor Gogron, cousin of yours, Helrast, and familiar face to many within the town of Elderthorn. The orcish shopkeep has asked the group of you to travel deep into the Pinwood to make a delivery of a large tortoise shell-shaped chest, which Dunnan is currently carrying. That contains from what you understand, a large degree of supplies, some of which are extremely fragile, and needs to not be parceled out. You are going to be paid for this in either trade or coin of your preference. But the group of you has made your way and lost your way a little bit. As the sun drew low the day before, prior to resting, you saw some curious pink mushrooms, incredibly vibrantly pink, and this drew some of you off of the trail for a few minutes, and that turned into a few more minutes. And before you knew it, the large swath of daylight that you had anticipated has left you. You had taken a rest upon the large flat stone that was one of your waypoints the day before, but you chose not to camp there for an overnight. Excuse me. Sneeze. You chose not to camp there, rather just taking the short rest. And you were forced to camp between the pin trees of this accursed and superstition-filled wood. During this time, the rest was uneasy for most of you. Some of you, Aeolus, got a full night's rest. The rest of you were less fortuitous. There was something that had disturbed the perimeter rope that Jakakoth had set up, and disturbed the bell that you had used as like a vibration sensor, only for the bell itself to be stolen by someone. And there were small footprints, like someone had stuck their fingers into the loose soil in 3 different spots in a trail leading away from where the bell had been previously hung when you examined it in the dawn's light, but your property was nowhere to be seen. As a group of you are coming to Helrast, you had indicated that you were looking, giving the area a good sniff and seeing if you could locate which direction was southerly, or roughly southerly, towards the coast, correct? And this is what we'll pick up. Know the rest?
Sorry. Yes. Okay, so let's get back to the coast. Let's head for the ocean, because that's what Gogron said to do. If we got lost, get closer to the ocean until we find that grove of cedars with the black moss. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. No more pink mushrooms. I don't care
No
how
more
cool they
pink
look.
mushrooms.
I don't care how
Let's
cool
go.
they look.
Just don't let this one lead. And I point over to Aeolus. Because he's gonna lead us in circles again.
Not to say anything against Aeolus, but just because you're a blood hunter doesn't mean you know how to guide people through woods. So, let's just get back to the coast and regroup. And so, Hellerast is going to start heading south or west. I don't remember how the coast is curving at this point, but out that way.
Make me a survival check, please.
Oh, okay.
Could I make one as well?
You could.
Okay, so just to clarify, Siegfried is just among us?
No.
Oh, okay.
We'll come to Siegfried in a moment.
Okay. So Hellerast is going to get all uppity about all this shit, and then she's going to turn and she's going to trip on a root and fall flat on her face.
Oh, great. What a good start.
All
Need
right.
some help?
Yes. Jack will go over and offer a hand up.
Thanks.
The burden of
Thanks.
leadership is not so easy.
No, I'm not really trying to be the leader. Just get you guys to move. Let's move. Go, go, go. We know what to do. Go.
All right,
None of us
we're
is an
moving.
idiot.
I look
None
over
of
at
us.
Jack and just shake. That's not gonna end well, I think.
Jack chuckles and gives like little, oh well, kind of shrug.
If only quick throw were here. Whatever. Let's go.
Siegfried. About 2 days ago, something brought you into the Pinwood, and you've been horribly turned around. As the day is beginning, sort of scratching yourself, you think you might have insects on you, you're not sure, from sleeping on pine needles. You suddenly hear sounds of voices. Speaking the common tongue nearby to you. What are your first thoughts?
Probably relief since I'm stuck alone in the forest.
Yep.
So I would try and scope it out.
Sure. Give me a stealth check and a perception check, please. Okay. As you creep closer towards the sound, trying to sort of stand behind one tree and then have the tree in front of that tree sort of form two trees width worth of a wall, this sort of tree walking technique. It's not very effective because you've chosen lots of smaller trees, and you're a little bit girthier than your average human, as you are not one. And several things happen. Firstly, you see a group of faces. You're familiar. You've seen them about Elderthorn. Especially the dwarf Dunnan. You recognize him, and you're pretty sure you've seen Jackakath before. Very unique face amongst the Drushians of Elderthorn, as he's kind of sweet on Buka, or is trying to be sweet to get something from her. You're not sure. You didn't get all of their interactions, but you recognize at the very least two of these. These are people from Elderthorn that you're gazing at. About 30 feet away from you, between the trees, cursing at each other about whatever is going on with them in the morning. Aeolus, you would be the one who hears the cracking of pine needles off to your left. As you look up, you see Sebastian. Sorry, Siegfried. My apologies. Siegfried. Siegfried, would you like to describe what he sees when he looks at you?
So you'll see a very tall, half-giant man with kind of long, dark sort of braids and dreadlocks. Is wearing some leather armor, sort of probably wearing kind of like survivalist gear and looking a little rough. He has an instrument carefully strapped on his back, probably wrapped up in a case. And yeah.
You see
Do
as
we all-
such Aeolus.
Okay.
Do I recognize
And
Siegfried?
and then he would be like, "It's Dunnan? Is that you, Jack?"
Siegfried?
Give me
Is that
a history check. Aeolus.
What by orcs balls are you doing here
You
alone
re-
in the pitwood?
You recognize him. He's usually been asking for coin on and about the Faded Gate Inn.
He's the one that plays the music.
I was out here on a job. Where are you guys going?
Perhaps the same job. Were you headed out to see a distant friend of our good orc companion from town?
Was I DM?
No, but what were you doing in the Pinwood?
I was. Sometimes I just like taking walks. I don't know what kind of job I would be on out here. I think I was supposed to be guiding someone, but they never met me.
Guiding. Have you much talent in guiding?
Because we are in dire need of someone capable of guiding us. And we had not so much luck until now.
Hellerast covers her mouth and says, "Bullshit."
Exactly.
Well, were you guys trying to go?
Somewhere past a mystical grove of cedar trees and a patch of black moss is a little cottage where somebody's been gathering flowers for Gogron. We're delivering this massive turtle shell full of shit. She'll slap the turtle shell on Dunnan's back hard enough for him to like stumble a little bit. We get flowers.
Mhm.
That's what we're doing.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Do I recognize what she's talking about?
I'm assuming you're asking about the cedar trees and the black moss.
Yeah, like the location she's referring to.
You're not familiar with it. You know what those words mean individually, but you don't ascribe them to a location that you've seen recently.
I don't. I mean, I've seen cedar trees and moss, but I don't recognize the place you're talking about.
Oh, great. It's getting better and better. I don't ever think we cannot reach our destination.
It's all right, Donnie. Just hold on. Fortunately, we have some guidance. That is to always be able to smell the sea as we travel. Then we should come upon the cedar trees that Heraras mentioned. We will know we're on our right path.
I can at
Dude.
least help you get to the coast, I believe.
I recall I heard the sea while we were camping. It must be close. Can't be far away.
Siegfried, you do know where the coast is. Your meeting location was set to be along part of the Thorn Ridge Bluffs. So you do know that it's not more than about 200 yards, 300 yards to your southeast.
Yeah, and I would try and lead the group there. It's like I believe the water is this way.
Easy enough. Takes about 5 minutes to get there, picking through dense underbrush. But
Doing well already, not even a single trip.
as the group of you come out of the dense canopy of the Pinwood and look over the white cliffs of Thorn Ridge Bluffs, you can see the sea churning down below against the rock face. The cliffside comes to a very abrupt halt and appears to maybe 80 to 110 maybe feet tall. It's quite a steep drop.
Better not get close to that.
Be careful where you step.
Oh, if I recall right, he said westwards then, right?
Do I know of any like landmarks that are west from here? From the coast we're at right now?
You would
you be able to-
not.
Okay.
Based on the backstory that I know for you, you would not.
Would you be able to pull up the map?
Certainly, I'd be happy to.
Okay, so I guess we'd be going east.
East, yeah.
What time of day is it if we're out on the coast?
Now that you're not underneath the cover, it seems like a little bit later in the morning than you had anticipated. Maybe close to about 10 a.m. Seems like within the canopy of the Pinwood, light comes late because of the dense cover. But now that there's a few feet between the edge of the Pinwood and the edge of the cliffs themselves, then it is a little bit easier to tell the time of day.
Let us just follow the coast. Why go into the deep? Stay here where we can see the light.
You'd just be trading one set of dangers for another, but you do have a point.
I don't care much as long as we reach our destination soon. This is getting pretty heavy.
But you are handling it well, Dunnan.
Jack says with like a slap on his back.
Yes.
All right, you want me to keep leading you east then, along the coast?
Well, that is what you were looking to do. By all means, guide.
Sure. Wasn't it this way? And they'll point into the other direction.
Is that another survival check?
Please, yes.
And this time I am going to cast guidance on myself.
Okay. As you cast guidance, Siegfried, what does it look like as you intone this spell?
Do you see Siegfried oddly look up into the sky? Like he's maybe reading something up there? But you can't really tell what he's doing. He's kind of mumbling to himself, and then you maybe see some of the tattoos on his face glow a little bit. But he's definitely looking at the sky when he's doing this.
I like it. Go ahead and make me a survival check with guidance.
And so guidance is another D4. Okay.
Plus a d4, yeah. 19.
So 19 total.
Very good. All right. As the group of you set out, Siegfried, you're helping them to pick their way pretty easily along the coastal edge to the cliffs. There are sections where the trees and undergrowth of the pinwood butt right up against the edge of the cliffs. You suspect maybe rocks that have fallen away over the years that having let the cliffs lose some of their area, but overall the going is okay. Within about 5 hours of travel, getting into early afternoon, it's about 4 hours. You can see a noticeable change in the landscape. A lot of the undergrowth of the pinwood has petered out. It's now loamy and mossy undergrowth. Fallen trees here and there, but no large bushes, shrubs, or other plants. Just trees. At this point, the group of you turn a little bit inwards, just trying to sort of fan out about within a line deep, going into the pinwood so you can see each other. But that way you can get an extra set of eyes looking for this landmark. And traveling about half an hour in this manner, what is everyone's passive perceptions?
15.
15.
15 as well.
14.
What's your sailor rest?
So one of those things. I have a 0 in perception, so whatever that is.
So 10. Okay.
10. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still such a dork.
And those of you with the 15s spot a patch of light up ahead in the trees. It looks like there's shafts of light that are penetrating through the dense canopy down into an area of the pinwood, and it catches your attention since that seems fairly unique in this setting. As you draw closer, you can see it's not quite direct sunlight, but the canopy is open entirely to the sky, about 20 feet by 40 feet, not very large, but it leaves a partial shade effect upon the forest floor here. And growing all over this area is an incredibly dark moss. Looks quite springy. Maybe like sphagnum moss or something.
This looks like the place Heliras was talking about. Is this it?
Well done.
At last.
Looks good to me.
Now from here, we were told to turn due east from the clearing to find a client. About 50 yards from the clearing.
All right. Can I
And
do
let's
like
hurry up.
let's just make sure the coast is safe before. Can I just do a perception check to see if we're alone, like at the edge of the clearing?
Sure, give me a perception check, please. As you sort of take that instinctive glance around.
14.
Taking a look around the pinwood, your eyes catch something that you're not sure about. There's the way that the bark here is set up. The tree trunks are fairly smooth. It's not very gnarled bark, but it flakes off in strips and caught in one of these partially torn off strips of bark is a tuft of some type of fur. You just see it because of this fantastic light in the clearing.
I think there's something here. Be careful.
What?
To be
You
clear,
see that?
it looks like it's a piece of fur, a tuft, a single tuft of fur
Yeah.
that was torn off and trapped in the bark of the
How
tree.
high off the ground is the fur trapped?
About 2 feet,
Hmm.
2.5 feet.
I think something walked by here. Kind of small, but it doesn't make anything less dangerous out here.
Maybe, Jack,
Yes.
it's the thing that stole your bell.
We should be so lucky.
Maybe you're gonna find it after all.
Well,
Who would steal a
just
bell?
in this case, I'll let Hellyrast go first. And Siegfried pats her on the shoulder.
Now you get to lead after all, Helderast.
Sounds good to me. Shall we continue then?
Yeah, and I would try and lead them to due east of the clearing.
Lead behind Helrast.
Yes.
Go that way, go that way.
Have to watch out that you don't trip over again.
I'll do my best. Thank you.
Maybe Siegfried can give you some guidance. He seems to know the way.
I got no problem with that. Hey, Siegfried. How well do you fight?
I have some tricks, and he kind of when worst comes to worst too, I got my spear as well. He points to his pack.
Okay.
Is it the
You'll do.
Blackburn Watch Spear?
Yeah, you guys would recognize it's a Blackburn watch spear.
Oh.
Were any of us in Blackburn Watch at the same time he was, though?
Siegfried, how long ago were you in the watch?
I'm probably a relatively new recruit. Like, it probably only happened the past couple of weeks.
Okay, so you are one of the true greenhorns.
Yeah,
Yep.
maybe
Oh, great.
Willem would probably recognize him.
Willem likely would.
Would Aeolus being in the
Aeolus would
among
as
the
well.
avowed?
Yes.
For Jack's part, he was in the watch maybe a year and a half ago was when he finished, and he hasn't kept up very closely with the organization, having mostly completed his turn and not gone back.
Well, anyways, I've never fighting isn't my best suit, but being a half giant, it's not something I can't do.
Well, if you get scared, hide behind me. I'll know my way around the battle.
If you can crouch that low.
It's all right. Quite used to dwarves, honestly. It's reassuring to see you out here.
You see, my presence is very comforting for him.
Would it be another survival check to lead them east?
Yeah. Don't roll a 1.
Okay. I'm gonna keep using guidance
Sure.
and another survival.
You're fine. You know which direction's east.
Sure.
Now that you got the location of the sea, you have a very strong indication of which direction is east.
Okay.
Are there
Yeah.
any stones about the clearing or the area? Like, is the ground rocky at all?
The ground is there's not quite cobbles. There's pebbles to about half the size of a cobble, and chunky. None of them are smoothed over. This is rough stone. It is mixed in between. Give me a nature check.
14.
14. Okay. The soil here like as you sort of like turn it up with your boot heel, you see some of these stones sort of turn over. They're not everywhere within the soil, but they're not rare either. You gather this is probably absolutely atrocious farmland of any sort. Like if the pinwood were to be cleared, this would not be very useful soil for much of anything, at least for a great number of years, due to the presence of these chunks of mineral deposit, essentially, and looking around the highly acidic soil from the pine trees. Not very good land in general, but there are rocks.
That's fine. Jack will hold out his hand in front of him and will telekinetically pull a stone up from the ground to drop into his hand, preferably one that's, maybe like a small knife size and fairly sharp.
Okay. You find one as you sort of are looking around. You find one about the size of a large, about twice the length of an arrowhead, vaguely in a conical shape. Closest you find.
Perfect. As we go along from the clearing, every so often he will slash a tree with an arrow pointing back towards the clearing,
Okay.
just scarring the bark with a mark.
All right. So as you scar up the first tree, it takes a few good passes. It's not a very sharp stone, but like it's enough to damage the bark. Some things do happen. So you break the bark in that place, remove your hand. The thick, dark sap that you're familiar with from the pinwood at this point starts oozing from the tree quite quickly, forming large bulbous beads. Not really running down, but texture looks like that of congealed whale blubber, and the immediate area starts reeking of earth and rot. You glance at it. It's far more sap than you expected to sort of billow forth from just the mild scarification upon the trunk of this cedar.
That is awful.
It wasn't me.
God.
Yeah, these woods are strange. The trees aren't normal here.
So I have heard.
Is there any other immediate? Does it at least seem like either through the scar remaining or like the beating that it'll remain recognizable?
So you can't even
Sometime?
see where you had scratched the tree, but there is sap in that spot now that is forming sort of almost like a nodule. So you could, as long as that's there, like at least that would help serve its purpose.
Okay, so kind of like a scab
Yeah.
in the form of the scrape.
Yeah.
Okay, that suffices.
Okay. And you're doing this every how many feet?
Well, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but basically it'd be enough that from one spot you could look
And see the next.
still see the other one. Yeah.
Okay, easy enough. We'll say about 15, 20 feet. As soon as the smell starts to dissipate, that's when you scar up the next one as well. When a similar process is repeated as you go, make me a sleight of hand check.
Natural 20 for 24.
Very careful to make sure that none of the sap ends up on your fingers or on any of the garments that you wear. And you can tell it's quite sticky, but you're quite skilled at avoiding anything dripping upon you or anything of that sort. After the group proceeds, a little close to 60 yards, with Jack marking the trees as you go, you all see ahead of you. The trees around you finally open up to a small vegetable garden set in the foreground of a large structure that looks like a cross between a log cabin and a hovel. Mud stucco covers some of the log beams that create the structure, filling in the gaps, and mosses have made the earthen walls their home. In one corner, shall we call it, of the structure seems to be the trunk of a dead tree. This must be hollow, as the top of it has a thin line of smoke trailing out of it. The whole structure seems like it's mostly curved and rounded over, rather than a more traditional square cabin as you would have expected. You can see off to one side there is a round window that has a curtain drawn across it from the inside. And in the twilight of the canopy, you can see there is a glowing coming from within. Warm shifting light from the interior, indicating some degree of movement within the structure.
Are we there yet?
It seems so.
You sure?
Should we let them know we're here?
Well, that is
Hey.
the purpose for us being here.
They probably know we're not quiet. Hello?
You call out. There's no reply.
Jack will float over the rock he's been using and turning it around, telekinetically will tap its back on the door.
Yep.
As a knock.
Wood echoes. Sounds soft. The wood doesn't sound quite like hardwood. But after 10 seconds, 15 seconds, door opens. Who is it?
We have a
Hands up.
delivery for you from Gogron in Elderthorn.
Come in. The arm of a grayish-blue skin reaches out of the door, only part of the individual there that you can see, and beckons the group of you in.
Yeah, Siegfried will go inside.
Absolutely.
You know, rest of you join them?
Aeolus will stay outside and will watch the area.
Come
Yeah.
now, Aeolus. Don't be so antisocial.
And Jack will try to put a hand on his shoulder and pull him in.
Not antisocial. It's just not my job.
Whatever, I'm going in. I'm tired of carrying this pack.
Siegfried will
Hello,
just
Rastus.
as he's going through the door, Siegfried will help move the pack through because he has this ability. I'm sure.
It's a little late for help now. But nonetheless, I'll take it. Here, you can have it.
Yeah, Siegfried kind of probably just grabs it with like one arm and just lifts it up.
Done. Before you even have to walk through the door, nice weight relief from your shoulders.
And he swings his arms a little bit. Finally.
And just as soon as the weight's relieved, Jack tosses down in the pack he's been carrying of his.
And back to carrying some weight again.
You proceed inwards. The area within is curious. There's the interior of the room, the interior of the home, pardon me, is Spartan in its design, but appears comfortable. Most of it appears to be, some of it appears to be maybe elderthorn in make. You recognize knives for butchering and filleting animals. You recognize a collection of hooks, most likely used for fishing, maybe off of the cliffs, and a few other bits and pieces of metal. More of it appears to be crafted from here in the Pinwood, despite the destructive nature of that sap to metal tools. Seems like this individual has managed to find some way to craft some things. There's a large kettle off to the left-hand side as you enter, set above coals and a very low fire that's currently bubbling with some stew that smells maybe like old socks and is about the right color as well. As a group of you file in, it's cramped, but you're not on top of each other, but there's not a lot of additional room. And there's definitely not enough chairs.
Sit on the ground is fine. Give me that.
As the individual comes over to you, Siegfried, with the pack.
Thank you.
And looks at you in the face. One eye's snowblind.
Thank you for bringing it all this way. I'm sure it must have been quite heavy for you.
Takes the pack from you, Siegfried.
For him, it was heavy for me.
Siegfried got the credit. And takes it over and puts it on what you suspect is their bed, which looks like a round nest of patchwork fabrics over reeds, straw, grasses, you're not sure. This individual themselves, long hair, quite thin, and definitely not clean, is framing, as it's tucked behind their ears, their sallow and frail face. The tusks, one of which is heavily chipped and damaged, the other is intact. Lead the face to have sort of a squished appearance. They are bent a little bit with their age and frailty, and what you suspect might have been a slightly on the taller side during their prime. This orc does not stand more than about 4.5 feet in height at this point due to this cowering from age and whatever other infirmities they might have. Hellerest, you recognize this individual. This is Ditgurat, Gogron's father.
Cousin. And she'll walk up to him and actually take a knee in front of him. Cousin, do you recognize me? I am Hellerast.
Sure squints.
Do you remember?
Squints at you. Reaches up and covers one of the snowblind eye.
not sure. Did you come from the corners? Where?
He reaches underneath the bed quite rapidly, much faster than any of you thought he was able to reach. And as alarm bells go off in some of your heads, he pulls out a clay pot. About you had all thought he was grabbing a weapon, maybe. He grabs this clay pot and rapidly dips his hand inside, and there's a squelching sound as he takes it, looks around the home for a moment, spots some area above the door, and quickly starts rubbing this sort of like plaster substance on this section where 3 of the beams meet, forming an angled section of the roof meeting the wall. He's rubbing and smoothing out the space.
Can't have the corners. Things come through.
I lean over to check. What the hell is he doing?
He continues in this fashion for about a minute, then wipes his hand from this like sort of plastery mud onto his tunic. Put the jar back.
Thank you for bringing this. It must have been very heavy.
He takes 2 fingers and fishes down into his tunic on a chain. It looks like it's quite tight around his neck. Likely it can't be removed without disturbing him in some manner. Like it might barely fit over his head. And pulls it out from the tunic that he wears. And then leans close to the chest, so that way the key can fit into the special lock, and turns this small, dainty golden key, turns it, and opens up the tortoise shell. Contained within, there is boxes, bags, parcels, a few glass vials of various liquids, you're not quite sure which, a jar of what appears to be honey. There's poultices, herbs, there's a lot of things contained herein. There's also what appears to be very large, smooth stones of quite a dark material. None of you have spent time with the miners, if I recall all of your backstories, so none of you recognize these stones, but they're quite smooth.
Siegfried worked as a miner for a little bit, but I don't know.
Okay, give me a history check, then. You're pretty sure that type of stone comes from the mountains, but you don't quite remember the name of it. It was not one of the things upon which the jobs that you had been placed.
Yeah.
But you recognize the coloration at the very least. It's like a dark onyx.
And that's something that was in the turtle shell chest.
Correct. Yes, there was 3 of them within the chest, and these are each the size of about an eggplant.
Okay. They're like ingots?
No, they are ovular in nature.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
Like the Shankara stones in Indiana Jones?
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, although they aren't quite as round, they're a little bit more flat as well. So they could lay flat and be an oval on the ground, so to speak. And as he takes these, he places them very carefully stacked one next to another underneath his round bed. After he finishes this, he reaches up into the area above, and sort of tied to part of the ceiling, there's 2 large burlap sacks. Moves them quite easily and tosses them into the chest, and then closes the lid, and then leans down close and relocks it. And then pulls back.
This will be good. Would you like food? I'm supposed to offer food.
Oh, yes, yes, please.
Take bowl. Enjoy. I get.
He grabs a clay bowl, and his hands are quite long-fingered and very thin. It looks like he does not eat very well. And goes over to the bubbling gray stew, dips the bowl in, and provides you a bowl. It's a large serving.
share.
Yeah. Even though it's strange, Siegfried knows to eat when he can out here, so he's gonna dig in.
Jack will also take the offered bowl.
The second bowl isn't offered. You get the idea that the bowl was offered as custom for you all to share and pass it around.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, when he sees Jack trying to go for some food, Siegfried will take a few bites and just pass it down.
No, you're not given a utensil. You can just sip from the bowl if you want.
Yeah. Siegfried's just using his hand.
Okay. There doesn't appear to be any real chunks of anything in here. As far as you can tell. Take a sip. Make me a Constitution saving throw. You avoid retching. It is not good. It is quite vile. Throw a deception check as well, please. If you're trying to hide that reaction. As you feel the bile come up in your throat, even hard to try to swallow this concoction before you pass it to Jack. I need the same rules from you as well, Jack.
Jack will bring it. Will have been watching Siegfried's reaction.
Mhm.
So when he sees that obvious retch, he's going to bring it to his lips and just tip the bowl enough to conceal his face and make a kind of noisy sound with his mouth, but not take any. He'll
Okay.
pass it along.
Make the Constitution save with advantage then, and still a deception check.
Okay. So he's not taking it.
Not
Just to be
drinking
clear.
it. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay. Bringing it so close to your nose alone is a lot. It's a sheer force of will keeps you from violating this custom. You do manage to successfully hide it, but Siegfried, as you take this sip, there's chuckling coming from Ditgurat. Let me give you guys the correct spelling for his name as well.
Yep.
And there we go. Now it should have the correct name on there.
Sorry, on where?
I just sent another handout out. It's the same handout. I just changed the name on it.
Oh, can you send it again? I had the other one open. It didn't change.
Ah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. The chuckling coming from Ditgurat.
Do you want more?
As he looks at you, Siegfried, and as you glance at him, he reaches with a ladle, which he had not used previously, into the stew pot, and fishes out a long and wet something, which takes you a good 5-6 seconds to realize draped upon the label is a wet sock. You've just drank in his laundry water.
Delicious.
Sort of There's a look that crosses his face for a moment. The chuckling stops. The smile fades suddenly.
Where did you all come from?
Gives you the stink eye.
Are you here to kill me?
No. No, cousin. Gogron sent us, your son. We're not here to kill you.
You're gonna get lost.
We can't leave till you have what you want us to take back to Gogron. He's expecting flowers.
Flowers.
You know me, Gogron. You know me. You know I will take this back to Gogron.
He rushes back to the bed, grabs the jar again, and starts working on part of the wall.
You can't have corners, no. Flowers get in. Can't, no.
And just haphazardly sort of finger painting that area.
They'll come back. They came and a child sacrificed. Can't have more. No, has to block the corners. Can't let the corners come. More children taken.
He's working this plaster into every crack and crevice of the interior of his home that he can at the moment, in a furious pace.
Guys, he's not real comfortable with a whole bunch of people in here. Maybe one or two of you could
Aeolus,
step
how's
out?
it going out there? Jack just stands and walks out.
Yeah, he's your cousin. I'll leave him to you. And I step outside as well.
Aeolus turns. How fucking long does it take to get some flowers?
I mean,
Who's
probably just
in
as
here
long
with
as,
me now?
as long as it takes to find the coast, I assume. Siegfried says with a
DM,
giggle.
DM, who's in here with me now?
Everyone
Is it
except
just-
Jack and Aeolus.
Everyone still?
Except Jack
Siegfried,
and
did he
Aeolus.
step out?
Siegfried, did you step out?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
I will
Okay.
go out as well.
Alright.
So, has he
Yeah, so it's you
calmed
and...
down a bit?
No, he's still working. And based on that check, Hellerest, and
Mm-hmm.
so Hellerest and Dunnan, you both get the same idea from different perspectives, though. As is not someone with whom you've been familiar mostly, Dunnan. You knew him in your youth, but not very long. As the general store owner, you didn't put two and two together as to the identity of this individual until Hellerest addressed him by name. Hellerest, he is not the same individual that you remember.
Yes. Hellerast has an idea, though, that she should just start helping him smooth out the corners of his home. Just silently take a handful of whatever that is in the pot and find a corner and start smoothing it out for him.
As you reach towards the pot, he sort of grabs back at it.
Phantasms, you're not welcome in my mind, in my home, get out of my corners. You will not be coming back again. No.
While you're decorating your house, I'll wait outside. Okay? Don't forget the flowers, Hellerest.
I will try not to.
He did load two large burlap sacks of something into the chest.
Okay.
Everyone except Aeolus saw him do that, and then relock the chest.
Okay.
You suspect that's probably it.
Okay. Hellerast will get in front of
Ava.
He sort of
him
stops for a moment and gazes at you.
I will be back. More infants thrown from the cliffs into the waters below.
Elrast is trying really hard to understand what he's saying. And she's just going to say to him,
I'm
Do you-
slaughtering.
Cousin, do you have any messages for Gogron? Do you have anything?
His
He's
face
your
sort of
son.
shifts again.
No, Gogron will be fine on his own. Tell him thank you for...
And he sees the chest of the supplies. Sort of pats his neck again, making sure his keys are out. Looks up, sees that the sacks aren't there. He looks exactly where he had the burlap sack stored.
You're set. Be gone from the pinboard.
Okay.
There's dangers about.
Sort of gives you the stink eye. Although he sort of squints his good eye, and the snowblind milky eye is the one that gets all wide.
Things creep in ways you don't expect.
Okay. Can you say anything else, or shall we just head straight back to Elder Thorn as quickly as possible?
But that's his route.
Okay. So Hellerast will lug that tortoiseshell thing out the door?
Remarkably light now that there's not rocks inside of it.
Yes. But it's still bulky.
Yeah.
And she'll stoop down again and kneel in front of her cousin and say, Thank you, cousin. Thank you. We will take these to Gogron as soon as possible.
Yes. Must work in the quarters.
He grabs the jar again and goes to work. Not at a fast pace, though. He's just absent-mindedly smearing this goop into the cracks of the home.
Hellerast will step out and close the door gently and hand the tortoiseshell to Siegfried, since he's the biggest. And she thinks Dunnan's done enough.
Yep, but Siegfried will take it. Well,
That was a very weird situation, and is he all right?
He's very, very old and just not right in the head.
Yeah, it
Creaks
seems
behind
like that.
you all.
I mean,
The
if you're
head
living
pokes
alone
out.
in the pinwood, I think you're gonna go crazy at some point, yes.
Is he looking at us?
Yeah, his head poked out
mean-
of at Dunnan's words.
No. Everything sneaks in. Everything you cannot fathom will sneak into reality if you are not careful.
The door slams shut again.
I mean, just saying, he may be crazy, but he survived out here, so he must be doing something right.
He seems like a real winner, that one.
I think it's not just that he's old, but that he's lived here for so long. We've always, Gogron and I have thought for a while that he's just living in a different world. Not ours.
For context, Hellerast, you thought he had left to rejoin the tribes. You did not know he was out here.
Ah, okay. Strike that.
Yeah. Oh,
Have you
I
tried
have-
to get him back towards Elderthor? Maybe being around people might help him. But, I mean, it's your family, of course.
I don't think he wants that, but I have to talk about this with Gogron. And I have to remember some stuff that he said just to me. Hold on just a second. And she's going to take out a little piece of parchment that she has in her pocket and write down what he said. Because she thinks it might mean something to Gogron.
When I'm outside of the house, can I do a perception check to see if I see any more tufts of fur?
Sure.
Are perception checks something I can guidance, or is that more of an internal thing?
More of an internal, just like
Okay,
as you're
yeah.
glancing around type of thing.
Yeah, I haven't been using it. I just wanted to check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I see anything.
As you're sort of looking around the area, the small vegetable garden, on the side of the house, looks to be quaint, but functioning fine despite the soil. There doesn't seem to be much presence here in this small clearing where his house has been situated at all.
But even this small clearing, it would have taken quite a lot of work for someone to clear out, correct?
At least a few trees would have needed to be felled.
Okay.
The clearing's probably about 20 by 20, and the home and garden take up about 2/3 of that. As I said, it's not a large home. It's a single room hovel.
I'll ask the group. Anyone here able to tell how long ago this hovel was built? Dylan, do you have any skills in craft?
Yeah, in bashing heads.
Okay, you're one of those dwarves, I see.
Yes. And bashing some metal, but not building some shafts in the woods.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going by memory, but Gogron took the store over 7 years ago, but he disappeared before he did so. So I'm thinking Gogron helped his dad build this. I don't know why. About 7 years ago? Maybe? No longer than that.
Elder Thorn.
Why do you ask, Siegfried?
Well, just look at this clearing. For one old man, it would have been difficult. Just trying to get a timeline of things.
Well,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Gogron's helped him.
You saw those trees, just cutting one down. A normal axe would have been able to do it, right?
Yes. I was hoping to learn this technique, but clearly is not in the state of mind to share secrets.
So this was a little something that we had covered previously, Siegfried. The sap is highly corrosive to metals.
Yeah.
You'd probably be able to get 1, maybe 2 trees down with a day's worth of work at the cost of your axe head. It would become pockmarked and brittle before the day was out. So felling trees here is not cost effective, but it's not impossible either.
Okay, all right. So I'll kind of take it back. Yeah. I mean, if someone was really dedicated, they could have done it in a day or two. But
yeah, at the cost of multiple axe heads.
But it would have used all their tools. It's not a very.
But we're talking about Gogron, who owns the store.
Oh, sure.
So he has better resources than most to be able to build something like this and toss the axe heads. It may have been expensive, but he could do it.
Did you see those stones in the box we dropped off? Those round things. Those are from the mountains. From deep in the mountains. I've only seen them in the mines before.
Are they of significance?
Yeah, do they do anything?
I can't remember. To be honest, I only worked as a miner for 2 weeks. But I remember seeing something like it there.
While Ditgurat was in there ranting to Hellerast, Jack wanted to have a peek at the garden to see, because from that earlier nature check, he identified that the soil is not great for growing anything. So he's curious what he was able to grow in this bad soil.
Of course. Make me a nature check to identify some of the plants that are there.
12.
You recognize a few herbs, spices, and what you think is the beginning beginning shoots, because it is early spring at this point, very early spring. The very beginning of the shoots of what maybe might be cucumbers or some type of gourd. You're not sure.
But things that wouldn't normally.
Correct. Things
able
that
to grow in
don't
this?
that wouldn't normally grow in the soil around this area.
He will take his sharp stone there and like make a little gouge in the soil just to like see if the soil is the same here, if it seems to be the same sort of acidic stuff. Or if
It
it's a
just
different type of soil.
does not appear to be. This is a different soil. Either reconstituted in some way, changed, altered, or brought from somewhere else.
Okay, and he'll comment that as Helleras and Siegfried are discussing like their the abilities of them to make this area livable.
They even either brought in soil from elsewhere that is able to grow, or they have some secret technique for making this bad soil good.
I mean, I've heard of certain druids being able to do things like that, but it's quite an advanced skill. I don't think I can do that yet.
What do you mean?
Are you
Are
walking
you
as
a
this
druid?
conversation is being had at this point?
Probably best get started with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and I'd be like, and then he's like, oh, we're burning daylight. Let's get back to town, and he'll pick up the turtle shell.
All right. So you're carrying the supplies.
Sure, yeah,
All right. You are able to carry that along with your own pack.
yep. That was the main reason I wanted to do it.
All right.
Hellerast is going to suggest that we
Rub it
not.
in.
Hellerast is going to suggest that we not go any farther than Fist Rock tonight to avoid last night's getting lost in the woods debacle.
Must we even go to Fist Rock? Can we not follow the coast now that we have found our destination? Why go back to the wood, except when necessary?
I would imagine Gogron gave us the straightest, safest path. Don't you think that makes sense?
To find it, but it may not be the best, safest way to get back, though it may be
You're
the fastest.
getting scared again, Jack? Of some...
Well, you never know who's going to steal something shiny.
Yeah, but you don't have anything shiny anymore, don't you?
Oh, I beg to differ.
Ooh, what does that mean?
None of your business.
Well, it's not going to get stolen if you don't hang it on a rope. So, and the reason it got stolen to begin with was because we got off the path that Gogron told us to take.
And whose
I
fault
know
was
my
that?
cousin. He's obviously been out here many times. I would suggest we take the path he gave us to get out here. You can go someplace else if you want. That's the way I'm going.
He'll hold up his
And-
hands.
All right, fair enough.
And like I said earlier, the coast and the forest you're simply just trading dangers.
Mm-hmm. Walking along the edge of them might be the safest place, the clearest place, but nothing's going to be safe.
At least the way back to the clearing has been marked.
Yes.
And you're easily able to find your way back to that and begin
All the scars-
onward. They are still
scarred
there.
trees still there. Okay.
They are. They are. The sap has mostly dissipated, and the scars are quite small. Already, even after about a half an hour spent at Ditgurat's. Seems like the sap heals trees fairly quickly if you don't continue to work on them.
No wonder there is such trouble. Apart from melting away axes, clearly these trees can heal themselves within mere hours.
And let's take our mid-session break here.
Nice. I'm glad to be back.
Welcome.
All right. As the woods themselves fall away underfoot, has the group decided if you're traveling back to the cliffs and trying to pick your way along the winding, twisting coast, which is probably a great deal further than a direct route, or are you going to try for Fist Rock? Okay. Okay. You start pushing through the pinwood. A few hours pass in this fashion. Before you know it, twilight is coming early within the boughs of the trees, and it's getting dark quite quickly. Those of you with dark vision are looking at dim light at this point. Those of you with, those of you without dark vision, it is dim light. Those of you with dark vision, you can currently still see fine, but you are all pushed onto shades of gray. You're losing color. Things are difficult and rapidly deteriorating. Okay, so you're shedding light. Is that a 20-foot, 20-foot? Okay. Okay, so a little bit dimmer than a standard torch. Okay. Is anyone else lighting any torches, lanterns, anything of that sort? Okay. So you light that and uh, in such a way that you're currently shedding as much light as possible. Okay. Okay. It prevents disadvantage on perception checks. Now, those of you who have the level of exhaustion, please bear in mind all of your ability checks are a disadvantage inherently.
Let me know as it burns down because he's got 12 hours worth of oil.
Okay. First hour passes. You get into the second hour. You gather it's probably about maybe close to 7 or 8 p.m. At this point. It's hard to tell. You cannot see the stars through the canopy. Willem does have a level of exhaustion at this point. At this point, those of you without dark vision would be unable to see with it if it were not for the light. Those who with dark vision, you would be at disadvantage on all perception checks without the light, or seeing anything outside of the light. You proceed, trying to make as much time as possible. There's an uncommon silence and stillness between the trees, and a thin mist seems to be ever present, grasping at your ankles and heels as you trudge forwards. The smell of cool earth overpowers everything else as you continue. You have an option here. You could decide to try to find a spot to camp. You've already passed through the Black Moss clearing, easily, like very soon after leaving Ditgurat. You've not yet found Fist Rock. You could try to proceed and try to find it before resting for the evening, or you could try to camp where you are. What's the group's decision here?
Siegfried will say, I don't think we should camp here.
How much farther do you think it is?
It shouldn't be that much away, but even so, something's not right around here.
How do you know? You never been there?
I've heard of Fist Rock.
Well, we were advised to rest at Fist Rock and not elsewhere, and it was a very uncomfortable night when we did not take that advice.
Siegfried, the waypoint that they're describing you're not familiar with.
Okay, alright.
It's something that Gogron specifically told them to help them mark their path.
Okay, well, if you give me some direction, what direction we were supposed to go from the Moss place, I can approximate it. But, hell rest you. There aren't any animals around here. I don't think we should stay.
Can we safely move, do you think? What if we headed just towards the coast a little more, to we not just smell it, but hear the waves?
No longer in favor of following the track as it was?
No. Siegfried's right. We should be hearing and be aware of other animals, and even if it's just bunnies. There's nothing here. He's right. This is change.
I say we just trust Gogron and keep going towards the rock.
Can we
He's
smell
holding
the
it.
ocean?
You
We weren't
can.
necessarily told we could hear, but we could told we could smell it.
You can smell it, yeah. Currently still.
Yeah.
He's you and your cousin are the only people who've had information before here. I say we listen to them.
And going
Well,
to the coast
that's
would mean it would take longer, right?
That too.
So I would suggest we press on before it gets too late.
It is
We'll
already
move
too
until we
late.
can't
but-
move anymore.
Mm-hmm.
As you're having this conversation, you hear a sound cutting through the stillness of the pinwood off to the northeast of you. Does not sound too far away. Ew. Ooh.
You hear that?
There is the animal you wanted to hear, Hellerast.
Another
Feel
sound.
better.
This one more east. Back the way you had come. Howls in reply. A third one to the north of you. Howls.
Oh, great. Wolves.
Let's just start moving now.
I think they're starting to surround us.
Then let's keep our light and stay together.
Yes. I'll get my axe and shield ready just to be sure. Better be safe than sorry.
Hella Rost has both daggers in her hands.
I think you have hand axes, correct?
Daggers and one hand axe on the hip.
Okay. Yeah, because the hand axes are your ranged thrown weapon.
Right.
No. I don't think I added dagger to your sheet because the hand axe is strength based and that's better for you.
Oh, okay. So hand axe in the hand.
Right. Are you holding the spear in one hand, or keeping a hand free, or just two hand axes?
Spear in right hand, hand axe in left.
Gotcha. All right. So who's leading the pursuit at this point?
I will be up front, and Siegfried will have one hand free and then strap a shield to the other.
Okay.
Danan is at the rear, carrying the bag.
All right.
Hellerast is behind him to protect him.
At what you perceive as a present danger, or the risk of a danger, are you proceeding in the same manner that you have been previously, or are you starting to hurry?
I would pick up the pace a little bit.
Okay. At a little bit of a light jog, I'd like athletic checks from everyone, please. And none of you have disadvantage on anything currently. Not that you needed it. Two of you have fantastic bonuses to your athletics and just rolled abysmally.
Yes.
Okay.
The 20 was right beside it.
Yeah, almost. As you're setting off, Siegfried and Jack, it's easy for you with the light to be able to sort of keep up the pace because you're setting the pace. And you're able to sort of duck and weave in between the trees as you go. It's up to everyone else to sort of pursue you, and they're expending more effort because of it. You can hear the huffing and panting behind you. I need Hellerast, Dunnan to both make Constitution saving throws.
Is it possible that because Willem has is in a state of exhaustion that she is actually carrying him?
If so, you're making all of your checks at disadvantage.
Okay.
Not like he's a kobold. He still weighs a decent bit. You could if you wanted to, meaning he would not have to make checks, but you would be making checks at disadvantage.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, roll me another athletics check, and then roll me a con save with disadvantage. Okay, so... And Aeolus is fine. Okay. No one gains a level of exhaustion as you're running in this manner for 20 minutes. 30 minutes. There's more house. Woo! There's one south of you, between you and the coast. Another one behind you. Seems like it might be closer than it was previously. You all get that cold sweat on the back of your necks, dripping down your spine, that something is pursuing you.
I don't think we are getting ground on them. I think they are gaining on us.
You
Just
continue.
keep running.
You continue on in this manner. I'd like perception checks from Siegfried and Jack leading the party, and then acrobatics checks from the rest of the group. You've passed through the area that the undergrowth was not growing, it was just mosses, and now you're trying to have to dodge around plants and shrubberies and different floor coverings of the forest. Jack, Siegfried doing fine on that. I'll get a roll in for Aeolus. Did Sam have to step away? I didn't catch it.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
Gotcha. Okay. acrobatics check. Okay. Alright, as the group of you proceeding onwards, another 30 minutes pass like this. You're getting nicks and cuts. Nothing damaging, but you're getting scraped up by brushing against the trunk of a tree here with a broken branch and leaving a gash on your arm or your shoulder. Your trousers getting torn on a bush as it's stuck into it, and you continue to run despite the stickers. It's the forest itself feels like it's trying to cling to you, tearing into you, holding you back, keeping you here for whatever thing is pursuing you. The howls get closer. Ooh. Ooh. Now you can hear there's barks accompanying them. There's low growls and panting and the cracking of pine needles underfoot off to the north of you, to the south. Some behind you. These things sound like they are on top of you, or very soon will be. Is there anything anyone's doing?
I've had enough. If you want some meat, come and get it. And he stops and turns around.
Dunnan.
We can fight them better at the rock. Come on, Dunnan.
We are at our heels.
The sounds are misleading in the woods. Just keep moving.
Until you feel the bite on your heels. Keep running.
When they
Easy.
bite, we stop. Keep
Easy
going.
for you to say. We're not having the heavy load all day. All right, let's go.
Just come on. Just the fight will get to us
Come
eventually.
on.
I'm more up in sports.
Yep. I need another Constitution save from everyone, please. As you're now breaking into this fast breakneck run at this point.
Athletics.
No, Constitution save.
Constitution save.
No more checks. You were not able to, at this point, outrun them. Now you're just trying to beat them to a certain point, and you're burning your energy to do so. Siegfried and Helleras, you both gain a level of exhaustion. As you are putting everything you can into this. Mark that on your sheet, it's disadvantage on ability checks. As you're pushing as hard as you possibly can, trying to, more howls come from behind you. Now you realize that there's multiple howls happening in echo of each other, overlaid on top of each other. And as you round one of the trees, Hellerast, Siegfried, Jack, you all skid to a halt all of a sudden as another howl comes from in front of the group of you. You realize that you've been cut off, and pulling out from the trees, stalking, slowly moving around you. You see the jowls of this creature first. The teeth, different, reflecting light. The snarling jowls of the wolves surrounding you and your friends are dark. Even the teeth are. And there's drips of black viscera coming from them. And I'm going to move you guys over to a map. I need you to roll into initiative.
All right, Dunnan. Now you get what you want.
Fine, I need some action.
Hellerast is going to put Willem down and encourage him to see if he can climb into those trees to our west.
Alright. We'll use this one as the initiative. Which I forgot to set my macro for. Go me.
Hellrest is not on the initiative.
Sorry, 22.14.
That's alright.
Our initiatives are disadvantaged, right?
Initiatives are ability checks, so they are a disadvantage, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I ended up with a 6.
And Hellerast, you also have level of exhaustion, so you are also disadvantaged.
Yeah, I rolled at disadvantage, but I didn't have my thing picked, but it was still 22.14.
No, having disadvantage toggled on your sheet doesn't actually adjust.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't adjust the initiative check. You still did great, though. I think you still topped the order. Yeah, there we go. Oh, sorry. Jack is top.
Jack is ahead of me.
Yeah. All right. Jack, top of the order. As you in the lead see this thing, let me mark my initiative tracker 1 so I don't destroy the token. This one up here to ahead of you. You skid to a halt and keep your companions from rushing ahead. You glance around. You see these creatures closing in from every side. What are your first thoughts?
First thoughts are we don't want to be surrounded. Is there any way we can avoid being surrounded? Like, are these trees?
These are trees. Yeah, they are trees.
I mean, are they of sufficient girth? Are they of sufficient girth that we could back up against them or something, so we're not?
None of them are greater than about 2 to 3 feet in diameter. Like as far as trunks go. And most of the lower level branches, as most coniferous trees go, are broken off or dead. And only the higher level branches, about 8 feet up, start actually having the 8 to 10 feet look somewhat sturdy, but still fairly weak. And have actual needles upon them.
Yeah, well, Hellerast is still going to yeet Willem up there.
Alright, we can come down on your turn.
All right. Well, with us already surrounded, Jack is going to. He did not have a shield prepared yet, but with them advancing, he will strap on his shield and draw his great spear. He's not going to pursue just yet. He's trying to keep back here with the party.
Stand with the group? Okay, sure.
So he'll take a step back to how to go closer to Siegfried and Hellerast and Jester Dunnan.
Come on, get in close. Do not let them surround us. Not individually, at least.
And he'll just be taking the turn to prepare.
Okay. And that'll bring us to Hellerast.
Hellerast is also going to sheath her hand axes, grab her spear and her shield, and start trying to put her back to Jack and start maybe building a slight bit of shield wall. So that we have a circle with some shielding to it. And just
sorry, go ahead.
And just hunkering and just like trying to prepare for any kind of attack. She's going to face north towards those two that are to the north of us. Dunnan is kind of in between us, and she hopes she's going to say, "Dunnan, get over here." Closer to.
You form this phalanx, like you and Jack have been taught in Blackburn Watch during your respective times there. That brings us to Dunnan.
We'll shout over to Hellerast. I'm not a greenhorn, I know what to do. And we'll get over here and look back to back with everybody. Anybody get a count? How many are there? And he will ready an action for whenever an enemy comes into his close to him, you will hack at it.
Okay. The wolves draw closer as on the ground keeps showing light. Okay. I don't think I turned on dynamic lighting on this one because you guys had the lanterns. One of them gets close to Siegfried, the other one has to dash. Two of them move towards Hellerast and Dunnan. Dunnan, you do have a held action if you want to take that.
Yes, of course.
The others move to here, and they're looking apprehensive. They're waiting for their opportunity to strike.
One.
Is it too late for Hellerast to have cast Bless on Dunnan, Ditgurat, and Freedom?
Currently, yes. You would need to do that
Okay.
on your next turn.
Next turn.
Because you did a whole change out on your weapons this round.
Okay, sounds good.
Does a 13 hit?
13 does hit. 8 points of slashing damage. That was
You
with
will
your
make-
battle axe.
Yes, you'll make a nice fur.
As you impact this creature, it howls in pain, and you look at it for a moment, and as you pull your axe back, getting ready to defend yourself again, you can see as it howls in this pain as you struck it, its mouth is split, not into a top and bottom jaw, but 4 jaws, opening on like 4 corners of a square from the front as it howls at you. And your axe, it's not coated in blood, it's coated in a thick, black, oozing sap.
I'm Martin. What are these wolves made about?
3 wolves have attacks this round. One is against Hellerast, and it has advantage because of pack tactics against you. That is a 16 to hit you, Hellerast.
Oh, probably, yes.
Alright, I think that just hits you.
Oh, no, it just hits.
Oh.
Just hits.
So that is 7 points of piercing damage, and I need you to make a strength saving throw for me, please.
Okay.
Ooh. As you sort of let Willem climb up from your shoulders onto some of the branches to get out of danger, this one sort of gets at one of your legs and drags you down. You are prone as it throws you to the ground. The next attack is against Dunnan. Does not have advantage because it does not have pack tactics, but it is an 18 to hit you, Dunnan.
Just my see, yeah.
That is 6 points of piercing damage to you, and I need a strength saving throw as well. Ooh, Dunnan, you the one that you hit as its jowls open up into these 4 different almost like phalanges. It grabs onto you and sort of tears you back and forth, throwing its whole body weight, much more than you had thought, and sort of gets behind one of your knees and breaks your stride, and you fall prone.
It didn't refresh my hit points. It says 8 in the character sheet, but not on the token. Just so you know.
Interesting. It says 8 on the token for me.
Okay. It says 14 for me. Okay.
Hellerast, you took 7 points of damage. Make sure to mark that.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
And now it does. I refreshed the page.
Gotcha. Okay. And then one attack on Siegfried. One of them had to dash in to sort of harry you, but one of them was able to move fully against you, Siegfried. That is a 13 to hit you.
That misses.
Ooh. All right. Avoided a natural 1, but still no good. All right. As it sort of dashes in, you quickly time it and just dodge to the side of the lunge. Instead of the jowls opening top and bottom, it opens to the four corners, trying to sort of clamp around one of your limbs. No good, though. And that brings us to you, Siegfried, with Jack on deck.
Since the lantern's on the ground, I'm gonna stop produce flame and grab my spear.
Okay.
And
that's your item
then,
interact, is
yep.
grabbing your spear.
And then I am going to go for the one in front of me.
Sure.
This guy. Don't think an 11 hits.
11 does not hit. As you sort of lunge, thing tilts sideways, unnaturally so, avoiding this thrust towards it. Doesn't understand a concept of a weapon, you hope, but knows that things trying to hit it should not hit. No good.
Yeah,
Anything else with your turn?
No, I'm just gonna stay where I am, trying to keep at least the two fighting be focused on me.
Okay. It brings us to Jack, top of the order.
When using a dart, does it have all the same rules that a normal weapon does? Like, because he's got a great spear in his hand, he'd have to like drop it, draw the dart, then he can't pick it up again until the next turn.
No, the great spear is light, so you can hold it offhanded when you throw the dart.
Oh, he has a shield on, I said.
Correct. So
what I'm getting at, can he pass it to his other hand to hold for a moment, so he doesn't have to do the whole drop, pick up again?
That seems fine. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like the shuriken that I've added for this campaign. You're just grabbing one thing and throwing it, so that's fine.
Perfect. He'll shift his great spear to the hand of the shield to hold for a moment as he draws a dart and tries to flick it to the left at the one that Dunnan hit.
Okay. Over Dunnan's downed form, go ahead and make your attack roll.
14.
14 hits. And darts a d4, correct?
Yeah. Yes. So
Nice.
And he rolls max
Great.
damage there.
Yeah, great
and
damage.
he's also going to perform a sneak attack on that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, because Hellerast and Dunnan are next to it. Go ahead and roll some sneak attack damage.
A 2.
I think it's d6.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You're right.
Good.
1.
1. All right, 9 points of damage. As its its mouth opens wide, you sort of time the throw, let the spear just sort of fall into your other arm as you reach, like the crook of your arm, as you reach down and grab the dart from your belt, and just sort of plink it into the mouth of the creature that's open as it's going towards Dunnan's neck. It's enough as it... And it goes down, convulsing for a moment before not moving.
I hit that one.
Yes, you did.
Now get up. And he'll pull his great spear back into his main hand.
Nice. Staying put where you are, Jack?
Staying put where he is.
All right. That brings us to Hellerast, currently prone on the ground.
Okay. Couple questions. Are they covered with fur?
They are.
Okay. So they're not just skin.
No.
And if I borrow some of the flame from the lantern, does it extinguish the lantern?
The lantern is like it's a hooded lantern. It has glass and metal around it. If you wanted to try to dash them with flame, you would likely destroy the lantern in the process. Like if you want.
Well, I'm thinking control flames.
Okay. What does control flame do?
You choose non-magical flame that you can see within range and that fits within a 5-foot cube. You affect it in one of the following ways. You instantaneously expand the flame 5 feet in one direction, provided that wood or other fuel is present in the new location. So, grabbing the lantern, opening the one side where you light it, trying to let the wolf in front of me catch on fire.
Okay. The lantern is to the right of... let me grab the measuring tool. To the right of Jack.
So it's too far away.
So you would need to get over there. So you'd risk an opportunity attack, but you could attempt to.
Nah. Okay, I'm just going to cast Misfortune
Ooh.
on the wolf that's attacking me.
Okay. Are you
And I'm
standing up
gonna be-
also?
No, I'm prone and I'm cowering under my shield at this point. So I've tucked everything under my shield, but I am prone. Would that work?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and cast Misfortune, please.
Okay.
That's a Wisdom save for
Mm-hmm.
the wolf. That is a 13. That's a failure. I believe there's a rider on that description. It is disadvantage on this next attack roll.
Okay.
2 points of psychic damage. Now, while you are prone, it will have advantage on attacks against you. Unless you want
Okay.
to stand up and try to take a more
Oh,
defensive
I will
posture.
definitely stand up if I can. Use my spirit to haul myself up and stand again.
Nice. As you cast your Misfortune, what does that look like?
Well, it's under the breath. You don't really see or hear anything, but all of a sudden the wolf just starts to turn his head and, like, you know how dogs paw their ears when they don't like it?
Yeah.
And they like paw their ears. It's pawing at its ears. It doesn't like what it's hearing. It doesn't like what it's feeling. It doesn't understand what's going on. So it's just going to kind of freak out a little bit.
I like it.
A little confused.
Shaking it
Shaking it.
back and forth.
Yeah.
Dunnan, around to you.
He's gonna get up. And we'll skid around Chuck. We'll attack the one right beside Siegfried.
Okay. Using...
Alright, and I'm gonna take this one.
Alrighty.
There's my character sheet.
$14 hits, 9 points of slashing damage. Very strong hit. The creature howls and strange sounds come out of its mouth. There's a gurgling sound. You pull back the axe and more of this black goop drips onto the forest floor as you look. The wolf turns you.
Yeah, there is more coming from me if you want. That's it.
Alright, that'll bring us to the wolves. The one that you misfortuned Helarast is going to go for you with a bite with disadvantage. That turns into a 14.
Nope.
Misses. As it sort of lunges forward, the four parts of its mouth open, trying to grab onto your wrist and pull you back to the ground. You can see it sort of shake its head and twitch all of a sudden as the spell continues to affect it, and it lands, slides on the ground for a moment before getting back into its original position, ready for whatever's about to happen next. The other two move out from their defensive postures and move to flank Jack. And then... yeah, that... the others stay put where they are. Alright, so we have 2 attacks against Jack to start with, as these things are closing in. Jack, with the pack tactics, first one is a 16 to hit you.
Miss. He pulls up
Nice.
his shield and gets it in the face.
Ah, there you go. As you parry it and sort of almost like swing and push this thing away from you with the weight of the shield, the second one sees the opening, goes for you, gets a 23 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
That's 5 points piercing damage as the teeth sink into you for a moment. I need a strength saving throw, please. And you are dragged down to the ground. The weight of this thing sort of holding on to your rib cage. It throws you off balance and you trip on some of the roots there. Alright, and then we have a 1 against Dunnan. With advantage, thanks to pack tactics. As these things have started to surround you. Dunnan, that's a 16 to hit you.
No bueno.
Alright. as you sort of slash, this thing's about ready to go back at you. No luck, though. And finally, against Siegfried, an advantage attack. 23 to hit you, Siegfried.
That definitely hits. Let me see. As a I think you have to roll damage first.
Okay. It is 8 points of piercing damage as this thing tries to bite into you. What are you doing?
As a reaction, I am going to use Stone's Endurance.
Okay.
And I roll a d12 plus...
D12 plus your con
2.
mod.
Yeah. So I only take 2 points of damage.
Nice. As the bite tries to sink into you, you focus, seeing where it's about to land, knowing that you're too slow to avoid it in this moment, and focus and harden your skin for that brief moment. Less damage. Nice. You do still need to make a strength save against prone, though.
Yeah, correct.
And you're fine. It's not dragging you anywhere. This thing doesn't weigh enough. You just sort of hold up your arm for a moment, almost holding the entire wolf up in the air, and sort of shake it, and the wolf drops to the ground again, gets into a low crouch, ready to spring at the next opening. And that brings us to you.
Keep muting myself. I'm going to focus on the one that Dunnan has damaged already.
Sure. All right, the one to the
and
south.
Go for it with my spear. I miss.
Ooh, yeah. 6, no good. As you sort of lunge at it, you're sort of trying to split your focus between the one on the right and the one on your right and the one on your left, making sure you're not providing an opening to one or the other. It's difficult, though, as we come around to you. Are you staying put, or are you shifting your positioning?
No, I'm staying put. I'm just trying to hold these 2 wolves here to buy the rest of the group some time with the other ones.
All right, that'll bring us to Jack.
Jack will. Is he able to stand?
Yeah, you can stand
Or
up.
is he held down?
No, you're not held down. It sort of drags you down and causes the environment to become a hazard, pushing you to your knees.
I mean, maybe some crocodiles get summoned out of nowhere.
He'll
Half your movement to stand.
push him using his great spear. It has that leverage like Halloras did. He'll pull himself up to his feet and reaching into his shirt, which is covering his breastplate, given that he's not an active member of the watch anymore, so he modestly conceals it. He pulls out a little, what looks like a rock in a sock, but it's a sap.
Okay.
And he's gonna swing it at this one that pulled him down.
Nice.
Trying to whack him in the head.
Nice. And this leather sap, you go for a good solid thunk.
20.
Not more than about 4 inches above your hand is the business end, the end of the business end of this thing. Getting, the momentary apprehension of getting too close to this thing, but you realize the danger demands it. And a good solid chunk into the side of this. There's cracks of bones. And you get sneak attack on that one as well.
And he will certainly do that.
8 points. Solid. The creature and turns to the side, then reorients its attention to you, looks towards Dunnan.
Bad dog.
Alright. Are you staying put where you are, or are you shifting at all?
He is staying put where he is. He does not want to get opportunity attacked.
Gotcha. Alright, that'll bring us to Hadorast.
Okay. Spirit Strike. Does that take an actual weapon?
You do not have that ability yet. I added it to your sheet, but that comes at second level.
Okay. So she's just going to go ahead and see if she can time a great spear strike into the one to her that's still alive, that's to her north, out. So she's going to see if she can time it, see if she can get it to howl.
Okay. Sounds good. So you're holding an action?
I'm holding an action.
For whatever opening it gives you. Hopefully.
For whatever opening it gives me. Shield at the ready, spear at the ready, taunting it.
Okay, sure. Give me an intimidation check.
Yeah. Let's see.
Alright, you think you're taunting it as we come around to Dunnan.
He just saw Siegfried terribly miss with his spear and see, "What? This is how you do it, Greenhorn!" And he's gonna attack the one to the south.
Okay.
Terribly miss as well.
Yeah, 9's not gonna do it. As you make that swing, some part of you's cursing your luck at that moment, being shown up maybe by this greenhorn. Are you saying where you are, Dunnan, or are you shifting to try to get a flanking position?
This heavy carrying made my arms go a little bit tired. And now he's gonna stay.
All right. We'll come around to the wolves. We'll start with you, Helleras. The one to the north of you shifts a little bit. The one next to here shifts some. This one is moving in.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, the one that you're focusing on the moment, though, Helleras, you're sort of trying to time the spear thrust. It lunges towards you. Go ahead and make your attack roll as it makes hits.
Oh.
Ooh. As you go for this lunge, the creature was a little bit higher than you were expecting. You skirt one of its shoulders, getting tufts of fur that go flying past, but it lunges towards you. 8 to hit you, though. You're able to get your shield up in time to sort of block its advance. You know, with advantage. All right. Next one to the north. The red dot one is going after Hellerast.
Okay.
Right. Hellerast, that is a natural 20.
Oh, fuck.
That is 7 points of piercing damage. And I need a strength saving throw, please. You are dragged down to the ground. Go ahead and mark yourself as prone. The one next to the north of Jack will go after him. Jack, that is a 7 to hit you.
Thankfully not. He does like a leg lift sidestep.
Got a natural 1. Its better roll is a 7. All right. Next to Dunnan, you have one, actually 2 going towards you. Dunnan, a 17 on the first one, and a 16 on the second one.
Bashed away with the shield and another one with the axe.
I like it.
You're
Parry
not
these
getting
things
it out
here
of
and there.
me.
And that brings us
Stands,
to Siegfried.
Yeah.
Oh, my apologies. 1, 2. Yeah, no, that was all the wolves. Okay.
Okay. All
Yep,
right.
we're good.
I'm just gonna keep trying to finish this one off, trying
Okay.
to follow Dunnan's form. Because Siegfried is definitely a greenhorn. Not used to using a spear.
Oh
I miss
no!
again. Oh my god.
You need that. You need that advantage somehow.
Yeah.
A lot to learn, Greenhorn.
Yeah. And that is my turn.
Alright, that'll bring us to Jakakath.
Jack, with that spear held in his other hand, is going to keep it going in again with the sap against the one he hit before,
Nice.
trying to finish it.
Go for it. Ooh,
21.
Amazing hit. Don't even bother with the sneak attack. As you say this, bad dog it turns back towards you, nips at Dunnan, and as Dunnan sort of batters it away with the shield, he inadvertently batters it into the swing of your sap, and there's a sickening crunch as the whole side of its head caves in, and it drops to the ground, instantly lifeless.
Dunnan, your back is clear.
Jack will turn to this one.
Alright. That brings us to Hellerast.
Okay, Hellerast is gonna scramble 5 feet towards Siegfried, so she's next to Siegfried and Jack. She's starting to feel a little cut off from everybody else, and she doesn't like it. She's gonna whatever she has to do, hump on her butt, whatever it is, crawling, she's going to get over there, even though it will result in an opportunity attack.
So it's
And
half
she
your movement to stand up. So you have 15 feet remaining.
Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to move right there. And then she's just getting really angry, but she doesn't want to lose. She wants to use magic rather than her iron because she doesn't want to lose what she's got. So she's going to cast. Let's see here. Which one of these is the weakest to her west?
Taking a glance at everything, the one to the northwest, top left, is the weakest of the three that are assailing you.
Okay. She's gonna, since she hates it the most, she's gonna go ahead and cast vicious mockery at it. Because she's an asshole and that's what she likes.
You have that. That is misfortune.
No, I took, shit.
Misfortune is vicious mockery. It's just
Is
renamed.
it the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then she'll put.
It's just renamed for later. Huh.
She'll cast misfortune on it again.
Okay. Solid. That is a decent damage roll. Wisdom save. No, natural 1. 4 points of psychic damage as this next wolf lets out that same keening that its companion had previously. Good damage. It does not go down, but it does not look to be very happy with its lot in life at this moment. Alright, that'll bring us to Dunnan.
Seeing that Hellrest is a little bit in a pickle, he will shout to Siegfried, you take this one, I soften it up for you. And totally provoked it up. I can't go through companions, right? Like move through them?
No, I think it's one of the halfling traits that you can move through in combat. I can double check on
enemy spaces.
Oh, is that enemy spaces? Okay, so then yeah, you would be able to push past Hellerast.
Would I be able to move into this field?
Yeah, with half movement, you weren't prone, so it cost you 20 feet to get there.
Okay,
but you could move to that position.
Yeah, he'll go there, and we'll bash onto his
First,
shield.
There's going to be an
axe.
opportunity attack against you, which is a 6 because it's lost pack tactics, so no good.
Okay. So, and he will bash with his axe to his shield. Take me! Dwarf meat is much better than half-orc, trust me! So, they focus on him, and he will attack the one who's pretty hurt.
The misfortune one?
I guess
Sure.
6, this one, yeah.
Yeah, go for it. Coming in big with the damage there. As it's sort of cowering its head and shaking it back and forth, its eyes blinking, every now and then multiple pupils appearing in the sockets before it blinks again and it's back to normal. Look at it for a moment, time its the swipes of its head, and with one quick chop, cleanly behead it.
See, Siegfried, that's how you do it. Now, try it.
Alright, that'll bring us to the wolves that still remain. The two that are gathered here will look around and, pardon me, 3. And they'll converge on that which they can get one attack at Siegfried to start with. With advantage, that's a 16 to hit you, Siegfried.
That beats my AC by 1.
Yep. Then that is 7 points of piercing and a strength save, please.
And I will use my second stone's endurance.
Nice.
Because it's based off proficiency bonus now.
Sweet.
Yeah, so second stone's endurance. So
5.
how much was it total?
It was 7, so it's reduced to 2.
Okay.
Great survivability there.
Yeah,
one attack on Hellerast.
And I need a strength save, correct?
Strength save, yes, please.
I think that makes it.
Yes, you succeed. It's not dragging you to the ground. Helarast, that is a natural 20 to hit you.
I'm down.
That is 13 points of piercing damage. I believe you have an ability, though.
Yeah, you're a half orc.
Oh, what is that? Let's see.
The relentless endurance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You
So
drop to 1.
just drop to 1. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead and drop that in chat. As this blow gets you in the rib cage, and tears a big chunk of flesh off you. You're bleeding profusely. So clap a hand over it. You're not going down without a fight, though. Last attack against Dunnan. Dunnan, he gets a 13 to hit you, even with advantage.
Push this out again.
And that brings us to Siegfried.
Siegfried's getting real frustrated at this stupid wolf in front of him.
You
Gonna
make
keep
4
trying to-
attacks.
Keep trying to steer it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, rolling great on the strength saves, but on everything else, awful.
Hey, that's a
There
hit.
you go.
Alright, go for damage.
For 9 points of piercing.
Nice. This thing
I just sort of like, as it tried to bite me, I just skewer it straight through the mouth.
as it lunges towards you, you've had enough. You've had enough of Dunnan's mocking you. You've been interacting with him here in the wood for less than a day at this point, and you just sort of lunge forward, and there's a sickening as the head of the spear buries itself in the cranium of this wolf. Before you put a foot up and sort of push against the wolf's chest and push it off the end of the spear, leaving your spear coated in this black viscous goop that starts to drip onto the forest floor.
Yeah, I try to keep the goop away from me.
Yeah, that brings us to Jack and Kath.
Jack, seeing the wolves around here finished, will sidle up next to this one,
Who's at disadvantage now?
and he's going to flanking this one. Going to go in with that
advantage.
sap again.
22 will hit. 7 points plus sneak attack. 6.
13.
This wolf's not been damaged as you sort of take 2 sort of sideways hurdle steps. Just getting into a position, it sort of turns, trying to pay attention to where you're going, turns back towards Dunnan, and that was all the distraction you need. A heavy sap hit to the back of its skull, and it just goes down with a crunch. Yeah, that takes it all the way down.
Your back is clear again, Dunnan.
Very
Uh,
good, thank you very much.
And as his last bit of movement, he's going to close in into the group again.
Okay. That brings us to Helarast. 1 wolf remaining here. Its 4 parts of its jaw open, howling towards you. Sort of growling a little bit. What are you doing?
Trying not to die. She knows how injured she is. And how well everybody else is doing. So she's going to kind of step back between Siegfried and Jack to here.
Wolf could provoke an opportunity attack by doing so.
I'm aware, but she's also going to cast Misfortune.
So do you want to cast Misfortune first, so that way, if it fails, it has disadvantage on the opportunity attack?
Sure.
Okay. That is a 9 on its save. That is 4 points of psychic damage. And then as you step back, it will make an attack against you. It has lost pack tactics. You dodge the 18 that would have taken you down and turn it into an 11.
That will not hit.
As it tries to lunge towards you, you quickly just sort of step to the side. It seems to be confused. And that brings us to Dunnan.
Last ones remaining of you. Let's make some wolf soup after this. And he will attack.
We definitely should not eat any of these wolves.
He's not the
No.
smartest. With advantage, right? Because I'm flanking.
Yes, you have advantage thanks to Siegfried. As you sort of back into the trees a little bit. You feel the scratches of the dead pine branches on your back. Not a concern right now. Right? 15 will hit 6 points of slashing damage. So line it up. A heavy blow into the back. You feel ribs break underneath the head of the axe. You pull it back, and you can smell like something acidic in the air as we come around to the wolf. It spins onto you and is going to make a bite towards you. 13 to hit, no good.
Messed with the wrong dwarf.
Come to Siegfried. As the wolf is turned towards Dunnan, ignoring you, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just trying to finish this wolf off,
Sure.
like
Lunge with the spear.
Dunnan said. And with advantage, so hopefully I hit this time.
Hopefully. A 16 will do it. Go for damage, or how do you want to do this?
Again, while it's behind, I just get it right in the stomach as it's turning around to attack Dunnan and just push it down onto the ground, onto its side.
I like it.
It's that easy.
As you withdraw the spear from your kill, the wood is silent once more. You're all tense, the adrenaline churning through.
Before we do anything else, I would like to reach over to Helirest, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on her.
Oh, thank you. Does anybody else hurt? Because I've got Cure Wounds also.
Okay, cool. I will save my other spell slot then.
I think everyone is hurting, but let's get on our way.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Okay.
And I tell Dunnan, don't touch those wolves. There's something wrong with them.
You sure?
Yes, don't touch the meat, don't touch the blood. Make sure we clean our weapons before we do anything else.
All right.
Tonight.
And before we run, he's gonna pat on Jack's back and say, "You've done well," and he will lay on hands him for 2 points, and we'll do the same on him. So,
nice, thank you.
You're welcome.
Jack will he's going to pick up his tuck away his great spear, pick up the lantern, and he is going to try to pick up the dart that he shot into one. Is it usable?
Give me a investigation check, please. You know which wolf it was.
And Dunnan will definitely clean his axe on whatever. Or whatever.
That one's for 7.
Yeah. You know which one it is. As you reach in, there's this goopy, bloody saliva feel. You get about up to your mid-forearm before you are a little bit queasy about what you're doing at this moment.
Oh, I didn't mean for him to reach inside of the damn thing. I thought the dart was just sticking off of it.
It went down its throat. You aimed it really well.
Oh, okay. Well, he's not going to put his arm in its throat.
Okay. You think about it.
I forgot that detail.
Yeah. You think about it for a moment. Decide maybe not.
Well, enjoy. Another little trinket for you to keep.
Yeah, Siegfried will just scrape his spear off on the ground in front of him the best he can, and then wrap it up and put it on his pack, and then go back to the cast and produce it.
Okay.
Let's move on before there are more.
Yeah.
A group of you move onwards. Are any of you keeping your weapons at the ready, or are you all stowing them?
No.
Siegfried is going back to produce flame, so his weapon is stowed.
Yeah, so you're conjuring some light for the party. I'm assuming Jack, you're keeping the lantern.
Holding the lantern, yes.
Okay.
Helirest is keeping. Yeah. Helirest is keeping her shield and her spear at ready and making Willem walk.
Okay. Dunnan, what were you doing?
Just stowing the axe on his belt and keeping the shield in the hand.
Okay. Did you clean off your axe or no?
Yes, he would definitely do that on some leaves or branches or whatever.
Okay, you do your best to clean it.
So who's the best?
As you pick your way through the wood, I'd like a survival check from the two leading the group.
Right. I will use guidance again for that.
Sure. I'm gonna put a D4 there. Nice, 1920. As you pick your way with the lantern at full light, realizing maybe better to be able to see than risk being seen, or it's a worthy gamble there. About an hour and a half passes into the night before you see a clearing of stone up ahead of the group of you. It's close to 10 p.m. at this point. You're exhausted. You're beaten down. You're bloodied, injured. But you found the large slab of stone that looks like the four fingers of a fist, just the edge punching up out of the ground, with the three horizontal lines along one of the long edges that don't quite cross over the full length of it. Siegfried, as soon as you have the lantern sort of shining over this, thanks to Jack, you see why it's called Fist Rock. It has a... Let me get a drawing tool. Vaguely... that appearance.
Nice.
I think
As whenever we get into the clearing, Siegfried would like to look up at the stars and try and memorize the position to see it, to make sure he can find this place again if he needs to.
Okay. Make me a survival check to try to take down that information. Try to put it in your mind. Pretty damn good. 27. Less so about the positioning of the stars. You know that they move and shift as normal, as the heavens change, but you feel pretty confident. Once you orient yourself from this to Elderthorn, you feel you'd be able to reverse that journey fairly well in your head.
I just clap Heliras on the back. Gogron comes through again. I can get us home from here.
All right.
Can
Yeah,
we
he's not an idiot. I am, but he's not.
can we briefly talk about the strange wolves you have in these woods? I mean, this job, they had four. It opened up 4 ways.
I know.
Yeah,
Did you see
yeah.
that one with multiple eyes? What was up with that?
These woods, the sap in the trees, they do things to... There's all sorts of stories. This is the first time I've actually seen it, though.
It's a scene of nightmares. Never seen such strange wolves. I mean, and that meeting we have back there with Ditgurat. This pinewood cannot be good for anyone if you stay too long in here.
He's not too worse for wear, considering the way the wolves look. At least he has only one mouth.
Yeah, but his brain is all jumbled up.
Just
How
try
high up
not-
is? Oh, sorry.
Just whatever, we just set the rule now. We don't eat anything with 4 mouths and multiple eyes. And try to keep that goop off you.
Lucky for you, we've got honey cakes. Actually, very tasty.
Yes, I could go for some food. And he will take a look at his axe. Is it like corroding somewhere?
Taking a look at it, the axe that you wield and Siegfried's spear that almost escaped that entire combat without being caught up, because of the missing, are both heavily pockmarked. I've just adjusted them on your sheets. They now have a -1 bonus to attacks and damage rolls. You might be able to get it fixed. You're not sure.
Oh, great.
This is part of the payment from Gogron. You'll have to have them repaired for us.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna pay Entry a visit after we come back. See if we can do anything about it. New axes are pretty expensive. It's not gonna cover it all.
All right, everyone up onto the rock.
Yes.
How high up is the rock?
It comes out of the ground about 3 to 4 feet. Some areas are as high as about 6 to 7 feet off the forest floor, with fairly steep sides.
Okay.
There's mosses and lichens that sort of grow over the top of it, but very thin, compressed ones. But no other plant life on top of it whatsoever.
Jack will go to a side that's a little lower, about 3 feet high, with the flat top and everything, and he'll set his lantern down not too far away. Then he's going to back up, and then using his great spear, he's going to take a running jump and try to pole vault up onto it, just for the
Sure.
trying.
Go ahead and make me an athletics check. It looks pretty good. You make it look like it wasn't that hard. But maybe because it might not have been that hard based on the height of it.
Yeah, you want to. He could manage, but give it a shot. And once he's up there, he's gonna turn around, reach down with the spear, hook his lantern, and pull it up onto the top,
Okay, easily done.
and then turn it off. He doesn't want to waste too much oil. I think it's been about. I marked about 4 hours.
Yeah, about 4.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Up.
Yeah.
And he'll offer a
Sieg-
spear to help anyone up to pull
Yeah,
him.
Siegfried will help boost anyone up who needs it as well.
Certainly.
I will certainly take you up on the offer.
This rock
Would
is...
you rather?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Would Dunnan prefer to be shoved up by a half giant, or would he rather be pulled up by Jack?
I prefer to be lifted up, not to be thrown up.
Sure, yeah, Siegfried will he's not tossing people up there, he's just lifting you up slowly. And then he'll pass up the shell and then climb up himself.
Hellorast will take a boost.
One by one, the group of you climb onto the landmark you now know as Fist Rock. Not the soft limestone of the rest of the area. This is hard granite that's been worn down over untold years by rain and wind and snow, to the point where it's smoothish across the top. Not very smooth, but it's not jagged and pointing. It's smooth enough that you can lay down relatively comfortably. As you all settle in for a rest, do you set a fire?
Do we have something to burn?
I would say Hellorast suggests not, simply because there may be other creatures in the woods and we don't want to alert them to our presence in this
Sure, then
kind
perhaps
of tall rock.
but,
We have plenty of honey cakes.
Yeah, however, just to make it a little bit safer, how about we do the watches what people can see in the dark first, and then I can maybe take the last one.
Hellorast is injured but pretty wired. He'll take first watch.
Certainly. Give me a perception check for first watch.
Okay.
Who's going to be taking the second watch?
Ich hab's ja gewusst, ne? Ist zu kurz, oder?
Who's taking the second watch?
I think Dunnan is.
Yeah. He
Dunnan.
wouldn't offer lightly because he's been carrying heavy weight all day, but he grantly says, "Alright, I'll take second watch then."
Alright, go ahead and give me a perception check for second watch. And
Yes.
who's taking third watch prior to Siegfried taking 4?
Quick question about that. This is a clearing, right?
Yeah.
So is there like either moonlight or starlight or any kind of light?
There's some starlight, no moonlight at the moment. It's partial cloud cover today.
Is it enough to make it like dim light, or is it just darkness?
Still darkness.
Okay. Well, with Willem and Aeolus not able to roll, I guess, right now.
If you want to make Aeolus take the watch, Aeolus can.
So I think he can see in the dark, can he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And then Jack
perception
will
for him.
join Siegfried so that at least the two guys who can't see well in the dark can at least help each other.
Sounds good. All right. So one by one the watches pass quietly. You don't hear any other sounds of the forest. It's difficult paying attention during your time, but soon enough it's time to wake up Dunman, and then following suit wake up Aeolus, before Willem, Jack, and Siegfried wake up naturally the last 2 hours of the long rest. You can all complete the long rest. Restore all of your hit points, spell slots, things of that sort. As you all come to, the sun is up. Came up about an hour and a half ago. Actually, no, it'd be 2.5 hours ago. My apologies. Right towards the end of Aeolus's watch, prior to waking the remaining 3 members of the party. Now the sun has fully entered the Pinwood, and everything is bathed once again in a sheen of green.
Good news, Siegfried. From this point, it shouldn't be as bad.
As long as we avoid shiny mushrooms. I saw some that were
Glowing.
Yes,
very
yeah.
pink. I'll have to show you. I think Aeolus has them.
Yes. Aeolus will pull out the mushrooms that he has. They are no longer pink. They are a ruddy brown and look like they might have spoiled.
Is that normal? Because it's been like less than a day, hasn't it?
It has been. You don't know. You've never seen these mushrooms prior, so...
I mean, is that normal for mushrooms in general? I assume not.
No, it is not normal for other mushrooms that you may have eaten during your lifetime as Jack. But it seems like this particular species does not keep very long at all.
Can you identify them, Siegfried?
I'm not so good at identification, but I can try. I'm not trained in nature, so I think Jakakat is probably better at that than I am.
You take a look at them, Siegfried. You have no idea.
Yeah, I grew up in the mountains with the miners. Not many mushrooms around there.
Fair enough. Quick meal then before we go. Siegfried, can you do that fire hand thing?
No, I don't think we should eat anything from this forest. Just
Not
trust
from
me
the
on that.
forest, of course not. We have our own provisions.
Oh, okay, yes.
Salted pork, but we want it cooked.
Don't
Don't
how
worry,
about
I've brought-
we have some cakes. Why don't we just use this daylight and get to town, and then we can have a real meal there.
Well, you are out of cakes at this point. You've eaten them. For 2
Yeah,
rations.
we should hurry up. I don't know how long these flowers will last.
Helarast rolls her eyes and pulls more cakes out of her pack because she bought extra rations. Because she knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And
Realistically
passes
speaking,
it out for everybody.
Spencer, how long does it would it normally take to do because we're feeling like we're rushed, so we can't cook the salted pork because we have to cook it to eat it, right? I think it was mentioned.
Correct.
Is that something that normally will be an inconvenience? Like, oh, we want to avoid these kind of rations because they take extra time, or is it time that's kind of rolled into other things?
So it's time that the people who are on the final part of the long rest, so Siegfried, Willem, and you could plan for and use, because that's considered part of light activity.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Jack would specifically want us to have some of the from the pork. I mean, hell, you can still do the thing there. That'd be great. But he wants to try his hand at some cooking. He's got cooking utensils, and is interested to see if Siegfried can help him cook with that fire hand thing.
If this is just a part of the watch, Siegfried would help on that with trying to get the fire going.
He's been dying to work for the inn anyway to cook.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Sure. Go ahead and make a intelligence check for me, Jack.
With the cook utensils.
Yeah, please.
Okie dokie. Oof.
It's
Is this something I can guide him on while he's trying to do it?
you have produced flame going.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
trying to understand as you're doing that. He's like, I think it's needs a little more. Can you make it hotter? Oh, that's too hot. No, back it off. That's not right.
It's cooked. It's dry, but it's cooked.
I have to keep working on that.
It's a different breakfast at the very least.
Yeah, everyone gets like a dry chunk of salty pork jerky.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I need some ale with that. We better hurry back to town.
Okay.
Yeah.
The group of you making all due haste back to Elderthorn?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Over the course of the morning and the first hour of the afternoon, you pick your way back. About 11 a.m., the group of you come to terrain which is familiar to some of you. Jack, Aeolus, Hilarast. This is spaces of the Pinwood that you recognize. There's game trails that you've been able to follow from this point. From the rock, but from there that you are able to get easily back to Elderthorn from there. Any of you who had the level of exhaustion, make sure to remove that for the long rest that you completed. Yep. But about 1:30, you cross back over the farmland with the broken tree and make your way back into the village of Elderthorn. You can hear the sounds of the market march, mostly fishers at this point, or fishmongers that don't actually work on the ships themselves but sell the catch, that are excuse me, I just sneeze. Fishmongers at this point that are still selling the last of yesterday's catch, but I'm guessing your first directive is towards Gogron's general goods.
Deliver their goods, yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and to get paid.
As you move to throughout the city, crossing the better part of it, past the Sea Dock Ward, the Southern Ward, over the Chorrell Run River, which is still rushing and heavily swollen with the spring meltwaters, past the Faded Gate Inn, and across the street from that, a little bit catty corner, Gogron's General Goods, into which you all stride. Looking up from a very small book that he was currently reading, with a pair of half-moon spectacles perched precariously upon his large face, is the image of Gogron. Let me grab the handout for you again. Hello. You're back. All in one piece. To see. Hopefully not too much trouble. Did you bring my supplies?
Siegfried will hand over the turtle shell.
Gogron reaches into his tunic and produces a similar looking key. Leans down and carefully unlocks the chest. Opens up one of the burlap satchels, holds it up to his face, gives a long sniff of the contents. Good.
Thank you for not delaying.
Ties the satchel again, takes the 2 satchels, puts them behind the counter, closes the tortoise shell, locks it back up, puts that in the back room, comes back to the main area.
I suppose I owe you all some coin.
I mean, I technically wasn't on this job. I was sent by the watch to guide someone, but I'm not sure I found them out there.
And it's up
Sounds
to
right.
you if you...
He looks at the rest of the group.
It's up to the rest of you if you decide to pay him for assistance. But I seen you at the inn. Whatever. I have 100 silver crowns as payment. Or do any of you need supplies in place of payment? I'd be happy to allow you to take some from the shop.
I prefer the coin.
But there was some damage to weapons along the way. Dunnan, what do you expect the cost to be for repairs?
I can tell. I have to let Andre take a look at it. Only he can tell.
Jack will look to Gogron.
If there's damage beyond the expense of the 100 silver, will you compensate him for the efforts?
Type of damage.
We
Fun
were
and roll.
attacked by wolves.
Wolves.
It's a
Looks
strange guy.
at you, Hellerast. Concern on flash across his face.
You all well? Good. Wolves are dangerous predators.
Those were not your typical wolves.
What do you mean?
They also were oozing like the trees in the pinwood. You know that black goop that comes out of the tree if you hit them?
Aye.
It was the same when we were hitting those so-called wolves. And their maw split into 4 parts, not just in one direction.
Yes, they were twisted by the wood.
Sounds unnatural.
And I'll show him my axe and show him the corrosion on the axe.
He reaches out to sort of take it, to inspect it. Do you allow him to hold it?
Yeah, sure.
He takes it in his hand, sort of gives it a twist and a twirl in his hand.
If you didn't say otherwise, I would have suspected you were all just going mad. I mean,
We will come to about someone who's mad, but first let's talk about the corrosion.
it
Sort of hands it back to you.
doesn't look as bad as if you had tried to chop down a tree, but it doesn't look great either. I have some credit with, Amber Braid. I'll see what Emil can do for you.
Much obliged. And now the other topic. And I'll look to Helivrest. You should tell him about his father.
Yeah, Helirast is kind of pissed off because he didn't say who they were going to see and was very surprised to find his father in a deep state of crazy out there in the woods. And she's about to start giving him a piece of her mind about how he could do that to his father. What are you doing letting him out there in those woods? What the hell? And why didn't you tell me? Why did you not tell me you were taking us there?
8
He's lost
years
his mind.
back, he was quite adamant he no longer wanted to run the store. He wanted to avoid people and family. I've not seen him myself in a year.
So you know about the corners of the hut and the...
I helped him build it. He his mind was going. He didn't want to. He knew it too.
Before he left?
He knew he was starting to lose touch. And he did not want. Sort of looks at the rafters. This to fall to ruin as he knew he was. He decided to withdraw. No people.
Yes, but there's
No
safer
family.
There's safer places to withdraw into the woods than the Pinwood,
Places
which has
that
its own
peop-
kind of.
He's been a survivalist longer than you've been around, cousin. But there's no safer places that are safe from prying eyes and travel. You've all been in this town at least some months, if not your entire lives. News travels fast. And even if he were to rejoin our kinsfolk that wander the great steppes to the north, news travels. He did not want that to be the last image people had of him. And I ask each and every one of you, especially because I'm going to be sure that I can get your axe fixed for you. Do not go about spreading that which my father wished to keep secret.
Nope, no worries about that.
Okay, if you can help me with my spear as well, you got a deal.
I know how to
Same
keep families.
problem.
Let him be content in the fact that he left the memory of him as he wanted it, on his terms.
He can do all he wants in his woods. I'm just not gonna disturb him anymore. But the display was not pleasant.
Neither
Gogron
was
doesn't meet
his-
your eyes. It's not. I agree. What did you say, cousin?
Said, and he tried to feed us his laundry water as stew.
Some parts of his mind remain yet. Who ate it?
Siegfried raises his hand.
You'll feel that in about a day or two. Just as unpleasant coming back out.
I figured.
Yesterday all over again.
Here's your payment. He goes over to his money box and pulls out 5 small satchels, and places them down on the counter. And I'll allow each of you to, for your discretion, including you, as he nods towards Siegfried. Rather than coin, which I cannot spare further, I'll allow you a credit of 10 silver towards supplies here within my shop. Take what you want now.
Sure. Siegfried would just try and get as many rations as he could.
Sure. Each ration is 2 silver, so you get 5 rations.
Okay. And I assume
Hellerast
I didn't have any when I started?
Correct. You did not have
Okay.
any.
Cool.
Hellerast is grateful that he was with them. She understands how well he helped. She's going to give him, since we didn't eat all of her extra rations, she'll give him 2 more of her extra rations and 2 pieces of silver out of her pouch.
All right. So you guys can all add the 5 people other than Siegfried can add 20 silver to their inventory, because it's 100 silver crowns split up 5 ways, and
each of you can select up to 10 silver worth of goods that you take at this point. So 1 gold worth of goods or 10 silver. Siegfried and Dunnan, provided that you turn over your weapons to Gogron, he is going to deliver them to Emil to have them repaired, which will take a day. You will not have them for the next day.
Yeah, Siegfried would offer to take the weapons over because he wants to say hi to Bugram.
You know that Emil is fairly reclusive, but you can go over and let Andre know that you'll be picking them up in a day or two.
Sure.
But Gogron needs them because it sounds like he's cashing in a favor specifically for it.
I will hand it over to him. I'll try and find Bugram later.
Yeah. Additionally, now that the group of you are back in Elderthorn, you will be leveling up to 2.
Nice.
Nice.
So level ups and milestones will not happen in the wilderness, where you are not able to get full comfortable rests. You need to be in safe environments to be able to score those. But you will be leveling up to 2. So before we call it for today and pick up back in Elderthorn next week, is anyone going to be rolling for their hit dice for level 2?
Yes.
Okay. So, Dunnan, I believe you have a D10, correct?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and roll a D10 for me. You get to re-roll ones, don't forget. 5. Okay.
Middle of the road.
Yep. All right. Average for Siegfried. Anyone else want to roll?
I'll roll.
Okay. Yours is a D12.
Yes.
So your average is 7, normally. Plus your con mod. So you want to roll, or are you going to take the average of 7?
I'll take the average.
Average of 7 plus your con mod.
Which is...
and your con mod's pretty good. Your con mod's a 4. So you pick up 11 hit points.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you go up to 27 total, I believe.
Yep.
Jeez. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just not ballsy enough to roll.
All good.
It's
All
too
good.
great a risk.
Yeah,
man.
really,
Yeah.
me too.
No, yeah, same. One of my first D&D characters was a paladin that I just had horrible rolls on. It was so
Yeah.
squishy.
Yeah, see, if I'd rolled the D12, I got a 4. What the hell? No, I'll always take average, I think.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah,
picking my druid subclass.
yeah, so you get to pick your druid subclass. Hellrest, you get, I'm going to switch your sheet to Whisper.
Okay.
You get the ability that I just opened up underneath your Primal Instincts.
Okay.
And you said that Goodberry is a spell I could take, but it's going to have additional material requirements?
Correct, yeah, so it's going to have, Goodberry is going to have a material component that is consumed. So
Okay.
it is fresh berries that are worth at least 1 silver in their collection. So it's a material cost that need to be fresh. So it can assist in the procurement of rations in the sense of you're not carrying weight, but you still need that survival check to find these fresh berries when you're traveling to then cast the spell. But it means you're not carrying all of this weight of rations with you. You don't have to find an animal. You don't have to find large plants to eat. You just have to find a handful of berries.
Yeah, I think that would be useful to take.
Yeah. And you're a prep caster anyway, so you can change it day by day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Helleras, you get that ability. That's why we have the strike attack on your sheet.
Okay.
And I think I've already sent you the token for that, so we'll pick up with that.
Yes, you've already sent me the token.
Yeah.
Although I don't know that anybody in the party actually knows.
No one knows. Not yet. So that's
So we're going to just go ahead and keep her under wraps.
Yep, that's fine. All right.